There are those who would like to see you fail in your journey. That's not going to happen on my watch. Let's go.
Can we stop for ice cream, Bart? Can we stop for ice cream? Oh, it's the Max! Ho, 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 ho! The Portland Light Rail System, the Max, and that's what it actually looks like. How sweet! So into May, June, July, and now we're into August, so...
That was the longest night of my life.
Hello, I'm Simulator Dirk, and welcome to this episode of American Truck Simulator, the last in this current batch. We are here with our Pepsi truck in San Francisco. Ironically, we are at a Volvo dealer and also a workshop, but I have a new trailer that I've just purchased, so let's get into it. It's Saturday morning at 6:30 a.m. We don't have a job yet, but to do that I need to hook up the trailer. Now I went and had a look at jobs using the trailer from the previous episode, and all I could basically pick up jobs were for cranes that I've just moved. So I wanted something a little bit longer and maybe a little bit heavier, so I've went out and I've purchased a new trailer. So we'll see how we go. Alright, now let's try and pick up a job. So we'll go to the cargo market. Alright, and we'll pick by cargo weight. So it looks like a Cat bulldozer. So we'll see if we can pick up one in San Francisco, otherwise we're going to have to relocate. Well, actually what we might do, we'll just pick San Francisco. So some of the loads are bulky but not as heavy. So we've got a Volvo excavator, a scraper, high value cargo, urgent delivery, articulated trailer, heavy cargo. So I was hoping to get one that needed a pilot vehicle. So they all seem to be with the exception of the last couple, construction equipment or tyres. So I did see one. We'll take this one, San Francisco, California to Texarkana, Texas. So that'll be a...
Time has arrived, President Laser. The world awaits your commands.
Okay, Morgan, let's go. Alright, nice wide turns. We'll go and pick up our unit. So 50 miles just to go and pick it up. I'm surprised for something this long. We'll see what happens when we go pick it up, but I'm going to have to use every bit of the road, you would think. Look at this. Yeah, it's a big one, alright. Now, how something this long won't have a pilot vehicle, I don't know, but let's see how we go. Might have to ride the line a little bit.
Continue straight.
Now, I think in American truck and also Euro truck, it should be easier. And I really could have done this in the workshop. It should be easier to put long load signs, etc., on, rather than having to go to a service centre every time you need to do it. So I am just going to stay here. I've still got about half a tank of diesel from the previous job. So we've just started our day. So we're in San Francisco, our home base. I did read
Continue straight.
that the San Francisco area is going to have a massive upgrade with the new version of American Truck 1.50. No ETA for that as yet. This looks like a cable car route. So I'm just going to stay in this lane. San Francisco is a very hilly city. I remember one day I was actually in San Francisco, and if you know me, you know I'm a Simpsons head, especially the older stuff. And there was an episode where Homer goes to a cook-off, gets absolutely high, and Marge is trying to find him because Homer's looking for his soulmate. And so they were trying to figure out where Homer would go. And they figured out that he would be somewhere downhill of where he started from, because he wouldn't walk uphill and he wouldn't take public transport because he says that public transport's for losers. So anywhere that he walked would be somewhere downhill. So when I was in San Francisco for this one particular day, if I had to make a decision of where I wanted to go when I was walking around San Francisco, until I got to the very bottom, my decision would be, given two choices, I'm walking downhill.
Continue straight.
Right, let's have a look at our very, very long load. At the moment, we're just carrying oxygen. But I love San Francisco. It's a brilliant city. So we've got a right turn coming up. Sorry, we've got a left turn coming up. I'll get my rights and my lefts mixed up when I'm in a right-hand drive vehicle.
Continue straight.
Because I don't know yet, when I actually pick the vehicle up, how wide it's going to be as well. So yeah, you just go ahead, buddy. I knew that was going to happen.
Continue straight.
Is it this one I'm turning at? Down here?
Keep left. And then turn left. Turn left.
Alright, so it looks like a wide turn. So here's probably a good starting point. Keep in mind, I've never driven a truck in real life. Oi! Sneaky, sneaky. So I'm going to go over here. And then give myself as much room as I can. This is a wide turn and a wide intersection, luckily for me. So if I stay here, it should follow me nicely. As long as no cars are trying to sneak up.
Keep right. And then turn right.
So yeah, I'm going to start from over here. Because we've got a quick right left.
Turn right.
So I don't want to go too wide to take these guys out. But
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
so now we've got a quick left, but we're turning into a wide street. So we'll follow old mate in the shell truck.
Keep left. And then turn left. Turn left. You've arrived. It's been my honor and duty to see you through this mission.
Hey, buddy. Alright, that's the job we asked for. We're going to take this job. Ah. Now this isn't great. So I'm going to have to go, because they don't give me a lot of room to come in here. I have to go as... Yeah, I've done that. So I'm just trying to go... Might have to reverse in. Oops. So I'll go straight up here. No. Now this is going to be a test. Actually, we'll see if we can go around the block. And the problem is too, we're running out of map space. Yep, we've hit an imaginary wall. Well, at the moment, I just want to go perfectly straight in that case. But the trailer's going... No. Alright, what I'm going to do, just going to take the truck in and just see exactly where I need to go. So that's where I've got to pick it up from. And of course it's not going to appear there until just out of curiosity, if we go freight market, so they're totally different jobs. So it's a shame we can't actually split this job up, split this trailer up. So I'm going to see if I can just go around. No, I'm going to take out that pole. Oh, no, we've done it again. So let's go as wide as we can. differential lock. Why are the legs down? Ah, we only had to go to there.
People are counting on you to drive. Let's go.
All right, here is our load. Here is our load. So we're pretty much... We have a look at the load. We're just about just as wide as the trailer, so shouldn't be too bad, I would think. Alright, so let's have a look. It is Sunday morning at 10:20, 33 hours and 17 minutes of driving time, if we could do that continuously, which of course we can't. ETA with no rest stops of Monday night at 7:38, of course. We've got just on 11 hours, or just under 11 hours. So 12 is 10:22. So off the road by 8, roughly. It's going to be a long drive with a couple of rest stops, but that's fine. We got loaded. So we'll just go as wide as we can. Disappointingly, no pilot. I think I still got my diff lock on. Yep, there we go.
In 400 meters, turn left. Turn left.
So I'm good at driving straight, not necessarily good at driving in reverse. Right. Got a few cars coming that way. They're gonna wait for me though, are they? That's nice. Thanks, team.
Keep right. Add Turn right. Turn right.
Alright, a nice big long load to finish the series. Just giving myself plenty of room. Alright, so for the moment I'm basically going to try and disregard the 32 hours and 45 minutes and the 1800 miles because we know that we can't do that all in the one hit. It'll be interesting to see how far we get. And I think I haven't looked at the route to see which way we're going, but if it says to get off at Fresno rather than stay on the highway, I'm just going to stay on the highway, I think. So it looks like we're pretty much just got the lane, which is good. So we're not wider than the lane. But yeah, we're going to have to pay attention to the turns, obviously. It's a Santa Cruz exit. So what's coming up? Well, there's lots going on across Simulator, especially in the truck space this year, with American, European, UK, and Australia and Japan and the Middle East maps all in action. If you want to see all of those, you can go to the Convoy playlist on Simulator. If you're only interested in a particular map, each map has its own playlist as well. So what I've been doing the last couple of years is that I've got a lot of sporting commitments in winter. So during the summer, where I don't have sporting commitments, I record heaps of episodes. Oh, is this Fresno again? Yeah, I'm just going to go straight through. Head towards Santa Maria. You know, at this stage, a little bit of a time penalty is not much, and I think it just curves around anyway. And
Turn left.
because every time I've gone that way so far, it's told me to detour through Fresno. It's probably not going to make much difference to the time, to be honest. So if I just stay here and then connect with one of the interstates heading east, that would be it. So during winter, I'm extremely busy with ice hockey. I'm a hockey commentator. So there's lots to do in winter. So during the summer, where I don't have any hockey to commentate on, I record a whole bunch of episodes, and because the episodes come out weekly, truck episodes come out on Tuesdays. So anything with a rubber wheel on simulated Earth comes out on Tuesdays. Anything with a metal wheel on rails, like the train to our left, comes out on Thursdays. So last calendar year in 2023, I had 40 separate hockey games that I commentated on, and then and of course there's the preparation and watching other games, etc. So winter's quite busy, and of course I do have a full-time job. I'm not a full-time YouTuber, and quite frankly I wouldn't want to be. So YouTube can't pay the money that my day job pays me, so, but this is fun. I get to do, you know, it's experience in different areas, and that's the whole joy of simulation. You can do things that you normally wouldn't do in the real world. So summers are busy in terms of simulated Earth, and winter is busy in terms of real life sport. As I mentioned, 40 games in the 2023 calendar year. It may actually be more this year. I remember a few seasons when I was also doing hockey commentary in summer. There was 30 games in the summer and about 14 games in the winter. But oh gee, that slowed up quick. But I was only doing basically one team in winter. What are we trying to get around here? The chippies are out. We have the vehicle surrounded. This is the California Highway Patrol. Yep. Good job, chippies. Actually, that's good cover art. Yes, I'm causing a traffic delay. Here we go. Oh, it wants me to exit again. I'm not exiting. I'm just going to stay on the 5, I think. Stay on the 5 and then go across on the 10 or the 10 or the 20. Is what I'm aiming to do. I don't go through these little towns.
Keep right. And then exit right.
Speaking of the police, if you're not aware, there's also lots of police and emergency services roleplay that I do as well on Simulated Earth. That can be found on the I Am the Sheriff playlist. So again, it's tried to route me through a small town. I think I'll just stay here. Stay on this road. Sometimes that's the decision you have to make as a truck driver. You just have to go, okay, well, I'm going down. I'm going to go down the 5, which we're on, and we're going to go across to the 10 or the 20, and then we're just going to stay on it, regardless of what Mr. Morgan Freeman, my navigator, says. That's the way we're going to do it. It all works out basically the same in the end anyway. So in Police Simulator news, Police Simulator patrol officers soon, at the time of recording, is going to have a highway patrol expansion, which will be cool. It's set on, it's based on Boston in the US, but it's called Brighton. And until now, it's basically been inner city policing. But soon, at the time of recording, there's going to be a highway patrol expansion release, so you'll be able to go do more highway patrol stuff as well, so that will be cool. And apparently there's also another highway patrol simulator coming out, so have a look at those when I do it. So what do I do in winter, when in my Australian winter, I should say? Like if there's a new game out, or if there's something like the Police Simulator Highway Patrol expansion, I will do a couple. I will do some episodes during winter, or if there's a train simulator thing that comes out that I really want to play, or a new tram game or whatever. If there's a new game, I'll do it. You know, I'll spare a bit of time during the week and record maybe 5 episodes or so. But I have truck content basically all this year, whereas before I was heavier in previous years I was heavier on the train content. Having the Australian maps certainly boosted things. They want me to exit again. I'm not going to exit just onto a local road when I can just cruise down the interstate.
Keep right. And then exit right.
Just so I can go through Bakersfield.
Exit right.
No, Mr. Morgan Freeman, I'm not going to do that. Santa Cruz, next exit.
Keep right. And then exit right.
No, we're not going to do that. We should be able to take the 101 all the way down. I thought I was on 05, but I'm actually on the 101. Because if I was heading down to Los Angeles, I'd be staying on this road, so the road's obviously mapped. Whoa, what happened then? I don't know if it's trying to get me to go across to the I-5, but 101's totally fine. It's pretty much like an interstate anyway. Chippies! Alright, it's coming up to Santa Maria. And this time it wants me to stay on... Oh, Santa Barbara. Oh, no, Santa Maria. Santa Barbara County.
Keep left.
Keep left. Good one. Santa Maria, exit now. And being in California, being a truck, I can do only 55. What have we got here? There's somebody broken down, I'm thinking. No. Oh, we got another accident. I don't know what causes a container and a trailer to do that. The trailer failed, obviously. All right, let's go. Going up a bit of a hill. That's what I like about in the States with these big loads is you got plenty of room on the side. The wide lanes, don't have to worry about curves as much because you've got room on the inside, and it's what I like about American Truck Simulator, that you know, you're going up a hill, you feel like you actually feel like you're going up a hill because you've got a heavy load on anyway. And then it actually feels like you got a heavy load. It drives like it really would. It's not arcadey in that regard. Give them some room. The 101's a beautiful highway to drive on. Have driven it in real life from LA to San Francisco, so in the opposite direction to what I'm actually driving. It's funny, I was driving on 101 and I passed a truck, and on the back of the truck it said, Jesus Christ is not a train. Jesus Christ is not a swear word. So I pass it and I'm thinking, oh, it's just one trucker, spreading the word. So I pass it. And I'm thinking, oh yeah, it's just, it's an independent owner-operator just spreading the word, promoting Jesus Christ and religion and that sort of stuff. Something, oh yeah, there's only one. So I'm continuing to head north towards San Francisco. And, I'm much faster than the truck, obviously, in a car. And I pass another one. And I'm thinking, there's no way that I've passed the same guy twice. It's got to be a different guy. It's got to be a different truck. So I get to where I'm going, and I look it up, and don't forget, this is 2009. And indeed, there's the Jesus Christ Trucking Company. And one of the things that they do is to spread the word. And it's funny, they had an illustration of a truck, of the Jesus Christ Trucking Company truck. But being 2009 and not actually having the photo, of the truck, it looked like it was on a treadmill. Yeah, but it's just a group of like-minded truckers, and apparently when they're at truck stops, etc., they try and spread the word. That's how they do it. So, they're carrying loads and everything. Actually, I should look it up and see if it's still in business or not, considering it's now 2024.
Keep left.
That might be a good thing when we have our first rest. So we're going to stay on the 101. Don't really need to go through Bakersfield. So at 6:30 Sunday night, the official fuel of NASCAR. I drive my car, I go really fast, I just turn to the left. Come on, buddy, you're gonna sneak in front of me. I know you are, come on.
Keep left.
Keep left. Los Angeles and Malibu. Alright, our next rest stop is in 2.5 hours, so that's 8:48. So by about 9:15 I need to be off the road. Los Angeles, right lane. Steep upgrades, steep grades ahead. Okay. Yeah, okay. So by 9:15, just before 9:15, I need to be off the road. That's, whoops, wrong button. I meant that one. There we go. Oh, Love's fuel stops are awesome, by the way. They're truck stops. Americans do truck stops so well. But I want to head to the rest area. Because ideally, I want a rest area that's also got fuel. So, off the road by 9:15. Oh, here we go. Here's fatigue Jesus, I'm getting tired. Fatigue McTeague face. Fatigue face. There we go. Got there. So I don't know when this right lane's going to end again. But especially considering there's an exit coming up, I'll just stay right here. Hang on, it's telling me Bakersfield and Fresno, but we passed those exits ages ago. So if we see a fuel stop with a rest area, that would be awesome. Pepsi truck! Pepsi truck! Los Angeles, San Diego.
Keep right. And then turn right. Turn right.
So now we're linking up to the I-5 South. You are getting tired. Yes, I know. I've got an hour to go before I need to be off the road. Hopefully we'll find a rest stop soon. Alright, let's have a look here. San Diego. Oh, we need to stay on the 5.
Keep left.
I don't want to head into LA. So we're coming up to the 10. Yes, I'm getting sleepy, I know.
Keep right. And then exit right.
I want to head to I-10.
Exit right.
No, I'm going to the I-10.
Keep right. And then exit right.
Now I'll exit right.
Exit right.
So we'll basically stay in the centre. We need to find a fuel stop urgently, but this is the thing, ever since it started coming up with a warning and, you know, being tied and etc., I haven't seen a, because I want a gas station, I need more fuel, I need to sleep. I think I see some on the map coming up. Okay, so I'm going to have to take this exit.
Keep left.
Oh, I'm out of time. Yes, I know, I'm getting tired, I know.
Continue straight.
Because, of course, and this is no criticism of Mr. Morgan Freeman, but he doesn't know that I'm out of hours. Alright, so I've got a rest stop here. Which is going to be awkward to get into. It's a motel. I'm not going to be able to get this into a motel. What I might do, I might find somewhere to park the trailer. Yes, I know I'm tired. I might find somewhere to park the trailer.
In 400 meters.
Oh, there's a
Turn
fuel
left.
station.
Turn left.
No, I can't really go in there either, really. Yeah, here we go. They're going to start knocking us off now. don't want to go onto the I-5.
Keep right. And then exit right. Exit right.
Because this is the thing, in the real world, you can rest wherever you want. But in American Truck Simulator, you have to rest in the designated rest areas. So I'm just going to find somewhere where I can dump the trailer. So maybe I have to go to the same exit again, dump it on the... Or do I just go through to the next exit? I might just go through to the next exit. Because I'm going to get knocked off anyway, so...
Keep left.
Oh, I don't want to use the junction to go to San Francisco because that'll take too long to get back. To San Diego, rather. Because I don't want to go onto the 15.
Keep right. And then exit right.
Oh, no, where I'm going, Morgan. It's all...
Exit right.
No, I'm heading towards Phoenix. You're running out of fuel.
Keep left.
Seems to be nothing around there. This turned out to be a way bigger drive today than I was expecting. And here I was praising America about their truck stops and their rest areas. KFC truck. My very first job was at KFC, and considering I know how it's made, I still eat it. Well, it's midnight. Because I just can't pull on the side here and just park, because the game doesn't recognise as a rest area. Now, of course, there's ages before there's an exit. I think, yeah, there looks like there's there's fuel up here. You are tired. Dozing, uh-oh.
Continue straight.
Alright. Looks like I've got fuel to our right.
In 400 meters, turn right.
Alright, truck stop.
Turn right. Turn right.
Can't talk, sleeping. Alright, we are finally resting. I didn't care how I parked in the end as long as I didn't damage the truck. Good morning, it is Monday morning at 11 AM. Let's just support the trailer here for the moment.
Let's roll. We owe it to our children to have you arrive safely.
Alright, so we'll go and fill up. It's much easier just to let... So this turned out to be a pretty good rest area in the end. All I want is a good camera angle of the servo. There we go. All right. Alright, our truck's full of fuel. Alright, we'll go and attach to our trailer. And we'll hit the road. So 11 a.m. It's now 11 a.m.
Team has been assembled to guide the mission. Let's get started.
Alright, so here's our load. So far so good, apart from the fatigue issues. Alright, let's get back on the road. So it's 11 a.m. Monday. Full of fuel, no fatigue. So 25 hours of driving, which obviously we can't do in one hit. 1,500 miles to Texas to our destination. Alright, so if we have a look at our... So we've got just under 14 hours of driving time today, so 12 hours will be 11 o'clock. So aim to be off the road by midnight.
turn right.
So we're sort of aimed to be off the road by midnight. That'd be good. We're not expected until Wednesday afternoon, and it's only Monday lunchtime, so let's crack on. So we'll probably just spend all day today on the 10. So we'll see how far we get. We're still in California. See, the rest area I found was good because there was a gas station nearby. Whereas that one is a rest area, sure, but there's no fuel. Now, if that's the only one I can find, that's the only one I can find, and it looks like there's a decent amount of room for parking. But the one that I was at was even better because there was lots of room to dump the trailer. And there's an exit just for a gas station that I can't even see on the map. So now we should just be able to track east, and then we'll make any little adjustments depending on what part of Texas is in when we get there, probably tomorrow. Desert Center, Rice Road, okay. There's a sign for Vegas. We won't be going through Vegas. We'll just stay on the 10. We should almost be into Arizona by now, I would have thought. Arizona or the lower parts of Nevada. But I'm thinking Arizona. $138 miles to Phoenix. Oh, there's a way station coming up. The Colorado River, which is nowhere near Colorado. Arizona state line. We're now in Arizona. And magically, we can do 65.
Continue straight.
So on the other side, we had to do 55, and now magically we can do 65. Thank you, Arizona. Commercial vehicles right lane only, because they want us to go under the beam for the way station. Prepare site. Here we go. Way station coming up. Half a mile. Yep. Pull into the way station. I thought so. Your vehicle is not in perfect or technical state. Be careful next time. So we probably did get some trailer damage when we fell asleep. And it doesn't matter. Like, as soon as I see on the screen it says dozing, we got my hand firmly down on the brake controller, but it just keeps going. Well, what have we got coming up here? $110 miles to Phoenix. Just gonna let these trucks in front of me and the couple of cars there in front of me. And old mate in the can haul. I was so tired I forgot to check about the Jesus Christ Trucking Company. Little bit of professional courtesy there. All right. now we can do 75 magically. Where a few minutes ago we can only do 55. The road hasn't changed. It's taking us a while. We're trying to get up to the 75. Phoenix in 91 miles. So I guess my main aim for today is to get under the 14-hour mark, because you get 14 hours of driving a day. Maricopa County. And the only reason I know Maricopa County, apart from I just saw it on the sign and that's how I knew it, is because there was a series, you know, one of these Ride Along with Cops series that isn't Cops, was the Police Women of Maricopa County. And we're just going through Maricopa County. And it was pretty good, but I remember that I made up a drinking game about watching it. And it came up on my Facebook as a memory recently, so that's the main reason I remember it. But you had to have a drink. There was an Officer Beth who really liked patrolling car parks looking for people. So every time that Officer Beth was driving through a car park, have a drink. Every time one of the cops mentioned something about their baby girl, have a drink. Yeah, there were a few others, but they were the main two. But it was interesting to watch. I should see if there's actually some episodes on YouTube. And there was another one too, and I think it was called the Police Women of Broward County in Florida. Oh, you couldn't get two more contrasting locations, but things seem to stay the same. Oh, I'm almost up to 75 miles an hour finally. Phoenix city limits, 24 miles to Phoenix. We're gonna have to move over here. Looks like it's another banana truck. Another banana truck. Oh, it's another Amazon Prime banana truck. Banana truck. Do 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 do. Banana truck. Do 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 do. Banana truck. Do 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 do. Banana truck. If anyone doesn't know what I'm referencing, and that's probably a lot of you, a Banana Boat was, and I think still is, a brand of sunscreen in Australia. And their ads, well, it was a rather catchy song. It was Banana Boat, do 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 do, Banana Boat, do 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 do. And I don't think there was anything to the song apart from Banana Boat, do do do, do do do. But it was very catchy. Alright, I don't want to head to Flagstaff because that's heading north or the south. So it looks like our next one. Thank you, Morgan. Mr. Morgan Freeman. Is he Mr. or is he Sir Morgan Freeman now? So Tucson looks like our next major waypoint now that we're going through Phoenix. Or we're about to go through Phoenix. That's Phoenix on the right hand side. So we'll stay right over here. Sky Harbor Airport. So we'll stay right here because they just add and subtract the exits and the exit lanes. We should be well enough over. Oh, that's bad. That looks bad. Luckily it was only the third lane they took at that time. Oh, that's cool. The sign actually changed in front of us. That's cool. Salt River. So 84 miles to Tucson. Back up to 75. Now I don't want to head on the I-8 back to San Diego. So 20 hours of driving before we get there.
Keep left.
Good one. So I want to get under 20 hours of, so another 6 hours. So we should be almost able to drive to our maximum today, which will be about midnight. And then drive the rest of the time for tomorrow. Part of me wants to go into the right lane and part of me wants to stay here because I'm thinking the right lane's going to end soon. Train, double stack train. Very short train, that one. Yeah, I don't think the right lane's going to end for a while now, so we'll go into it. So 6.5 hours will take us to about just 12:30. As long as I can go under have under 14 hours to go today, I'll be happy. Through traffic, left 2 lanes. Working on it. Watch for wildlife dusk and dawn. That's good advice. Oh, we're heading towards El Paso. El Paso is awesome. Now, I don't know if we're actually going to go through El Paso, possibly. El Paso, Texas. That's a long way away to have El Paso as a waymark for as a waypoint for the I-10. But many years ago now,
Continue straight.
I think it was 2013, I was catching trains everywhere in the US. And so one of the train trips that I wanted to do was from Los Angeles to Miami and then connect with 70,000 tons of metal, which is a story that I'll continue on with, but I'll do the El Paso bit first. So the trip, I was feeling actually a little bit sick on the way over from LA to New Orleans, but I got better as the trip went on.
Keep left.
So I wanted to book the one train if I could from LA to Miami and basically go through the south that way. But unfortunately there was no trains between New Orleans and Miami. So to get to Miami from there, I had to go all the way up to Washington DC and then come back down, which basically added an extra day to my trip, which wasn't bad. because I was on trains. But in Australia, if we had something like that, they'd put on coaches for us, so we can just go on a coach from New Orleans to Miami. And I actually didn't think at the time, I didn't want to necessarily go on a bus from, although that wouldn't have been a bad option, I guess, from New Orleans to Miami. But I was in no rush, so El Paso, 288 miles, by the way. So I had plenty of time, so I planned accordingly. So it wasn't a surprise, and I knew that it was coming, so I planned accordingly. And I also used that opportunity to spend a few days in New Orleans as well. Now, the reason that I couldn't go straight across from New Orleans to Miami on the train was because the train lines were still closed. This is in 2013. They were still closed as a result of Hurricane Katrina in 2007. And that was 2013, and it was still closed. So the only way that I could get a train to Miami from New Orleans was to go via Washington DC. So I basically had to go very far north and then come back very far south. Anywho, we were coming into El Paso, Texas. El Paso, Texas, which is where we're heading to now, is on the border with Mexico. And as you're coming in on the train, on the right hand side you can see the massive fence between the US and Mexico there. And my passenger attendant on that train was a lovely man called Henry Ford. Yes, as in Henry Ford, as in the Ford guy. But it actually wasn't the Henry Ford, of course, but Henry Ford was really nice. So he makes an announcement coming up to El Paso, which is in 258 miles. And he says, hello ladies and gentlemen, very soon we will be arriving in El Paso, Texas. If you look out the window of the train in the right hand side in the direction of travel, you'll be able to see a rather large fence. Beyond that rather large fence is Mexico. We will be stopping on the platform at El Paso for about half an hour. Please do not attempt to go into Mexico and come back for the train in half an hour, because you won't make it. If you do so anyway and don't make it back onto the train before we depart, you will have to buy another ticket at your own expense and come back on the next train, which is tomorrow. So obviously there's a reason for that announcement, and that is because obviously some people have tried in the past. So that's my story about El Paso, Texas. So it was a rather nice train trip. I had a sleeper. Yeah, that was a really epic trip. In America, caught trains everywhere. So I went from LA to New Orleans, up to Washington DC, down to Miami, and then I did 70,000 tons of metal, and then I spent a week in Mexico City, come back, and then I went back to Miami, and then I caught a train up to New York, spent some time in New York, and then I caught a train to Chicago, a bit of time in Chicago, and then up to Portland, Oregon, bit of time there, and then I came down Spent some time in San Francisco from memory. So, and then the next year, I basically flew everywhere. But yeah, it's been a while since I've been to America. 2014 was the last time I was there. Now, 70,000 tons of metal, by the way. If you're into heavy metal music, which I am, I went on 70,000 tons of metal twice, 2013, 2014. And it was epic. It's a floating festival of heavy metal. On the boat that I was on, there was 4 different stages, 40 bands, 3,000 people, and so you'd go from Miami. One year we went to Turks Caicos Island, and then the next year we went to somewhere in Mexico for that port. So you'd spend a couple of days at sea, you'd have a day in port where all the music and that would stop because everyone's off on the 180 miles to El Paso. So basically everyone's off the ship and it's a port day, and then you come back towards Miami. There have been some cruises that have come out of Fort Lauderdale, and they usually pick a different destination each year. So, on the boat that I was on, there were 4 different stages. One of them was on the pool deck. They had 2 pools. They actually emptied one and then, put a, temporary floor and a concert stage on the top. The bands played there. And then there were a couple of spa baths that you can watch the action from. All the back pool was still in operation, so you can watch the bands from there. So that was cool. So there were 40 bands. Each band would perform twice. Way station in a mile. So each band would perform twice. I can bypass the way station, thank you. So every band would perform twice. I saw every band at least once. And there was one day, I think it was on the second cruise. Yeah, it was on the second cruise, where on one of the days heading back from Mexico, it basically stormed all day, so they couldn't. So they really had to adjust the timetable. They weren't allowed to have anybody performing on the pool deck because it was stormy and lightning and all that sort of stuff. So they rearranged the timetable. So I basically spent most of that day in the hot tub and just hanging out with various people. So that was cool. But I remember, because I went over there, I went over there both times as media. When 70,000 tons of metal started, the promoters basically had to hire the boat. They weren't allowed to mention the name of the boat or anything in their advertising. Obviously you'd be able to figure it out, I guess. I wasn't aware of it back then, so I don't know how you booked and all that sort of stuff, but because they basically didn't know what sort of condition they were going to get the ship back in, if at all. They had no idea about, was the boat going to get trashed or whatever, because of the perception of heavy metal people. So, they had all of the ship's crew on there, etc., but, the promoters weren't allowed to mention the cruise line, etc. So, when the first cruise happened, many years ago now, they found that the heavy metal people on board were awesome. All they wanted to do was go on the ship, relax, watch music, and drink alcohol, and lots of alcohol. Now, because the cruise company had never dealt with metalheads before, 103 miles to El Paso, because they'd never dealt with metalheads before, they just based their alcohol consumption on what a normal cruise would consume for the same length. So say a 4-day cruise, they basically worked out, okay, well, people on a normal 4-day cruise drink this much alcohol, we'll order the same amount. Well, boy, that was a mistake. They figured out eventually that what a normal cruise drinks in 4 days, metalheads drink in a day. Because they go hard. So what they actually had to do on the very first cruise, until they figured it out, because they really had no idea until that point, was that they actually had to phone ahead to Mexico and get an emergency shipment of alcohol, because they didn't want to have a riot on the way back. But they did. The ship was restocked on the port day, and everything turned out. So much so that after that first event, they were allowed to mention the cruise. The promoters were able to mention the cruise company. So much so that the years that I went, the captain was giving press conferences and giving, because media from all over the world were coming over. And what also happens is that crew can bid to work certain cruises, and there would be lots of competition for people to actually get on board the cruise for 70,000 tons of metal, because the staff found that compared to a normal cruise, metalheads were very much less demanding than your normal cruise clientele. All they wanted was to watch the music, drink alcohol and lots of it, and eat and hang out, and that's all they wanted. They weren't concerned about being waited on hand, foot, etc. They just wanted to eat, drink and party and watch the bands. And so much so, 2015 was the year that they actually got the next size up of the boat. Albuquerque exit coming up. They actually increased the size of the boat. So they increased the number of bands, they increased the number of stages, and they increased the number of punters. But apart from the COVID years, of course, it's been going rather well. So we're heading into El Paso. 14.5 hours remaining. We have, in our day today, we have an hour and a half of our day remaining. So that basically takes us till just before 1 a.m. Just before 1 a.m. But I definitely want to get under the 13-hour mark. El Paso is coming up soon.
Keep left.
Keep left. Sounds like a helicopter nearby. So just before 1 a.m. we need to be off the road. I want to be under that 14-hour mark. So question, keep left. So if we're coming up to El Paso, when did we enter Texas? I don't remember seeing a sign. Alright, so we're under the 14-hour mark remaining. We have 50 minutes to be off the road. So if there's a... I want to give the Popo some room. Oh, that flashing lights there look great in a... Should be able to find a rest stop somewhere here in El Paso. Pepsi truck. Alright, let's have a look at the map quickly, see if we can find... Actually, no. "52 minutes to that checkpoint." Hang on. "42 miles to that checkpoint." I would have thought... that there would have been somewhere in El Paso that we could have pulled over for a rest.
There are those who would like to see you fail in your journey.
But it appears not.
Let's go.
So it appears not, so we're going to have to get back onto the interstate. So that's a shame. So I'm going to have to go up to this rest stop. We're going to have to go back on I-10. This straight's not even on our map. Alright, I should be off the road. But what this also does, gives us a bit of leeway tomorrow. What? we hit an invisible wall coming onto the I-10. Oh. That's not good. So what we're going to have to do... because we can't get back on... tow to service. We're going to have to do that. Now it's Thursday at 4:01 and we haven't rested yet. Oh, wowee. Where are they going to dump us, I wonder? Alright. I think this is where I was trying to head anyway. To repair... repair all... service recommendations. Let's go replace all, confirm. Alright, our vehicle's not damaged anymore. So, is there a rest stop here? Yes. So we'll detach the trailer.
I may be the Vice President of America, but you're the President of this car, and it's time to take action. Our mission is to secure the safety of the American people, including you. Buckle up.
Is that truck rest?
The Secret Service has your back, and so do I. Let's go.
Oh, hang on, it is.
Let's get going. The leaders of many foreign nations await your arrival.
I want to park somewhat nicely. Alright, we are now resting. So... good morning from El Paso. It's Tuesday afternoon, just after 2 p.m. Our little detour of downtown El Paso looking for a rest didn't exactly work out. So the only way to continue was to get the truck towed, which was just up the road from where we were going to pull up anyway, but that's thrown us a little bit out of whack. So we'll attach the trailer.
Children to have you arrive safely. I may be the Vice President of America, but you're the President of this car.
Whoops.
And it's time to take action. The American people are counting on you to drive. Let's go. The Secret Service has your back, and so do I. Let's go.
Alright, so here we go, just after 2 p.m. Tuesday. Our ETA is early Wednesday morning. Now, we've got 14 hours remaining in our driving day. 13 hours on the clock, so we should make it. So as long as we have... So we're expected to arrive basically at the start of our window. Our window is a generous, like a 12-hour window, just over 12-hour window, 12 and a half, 13-hour window, over which we need to arrive. So we've got a gas station up here, which is where I was hoping to get to. Where's the fuel? Maybe we have to go around the back for the fuel. Over there. So truck rest. Okay, our fuel's over here. Hang on, we'll detach the trailer. So of course we did pick the one with because I've removed my icon, the green icons. $3.41 a gallon. All right, $4.89 to fill it up. See, I couldn't tell that there wasn't one there until I was basically right on top of it. All right, let's go, Mr. Morgan Freeman. So fatigue shouldn't be an issue, fuel shouldn't be an issue. No unplanned excursions. Oh, I have a truck wash over there.
Continue straight. In 400 meters, turn left.
783 miles to go. Can I make it? Can I make it? Oh yeah.
Continue straight.
Oh, hang on. I went too early. I was thinking that was the entrance to I-10.
Keep right.
Heading to San Antonio. San Antonio is quite nice actually. I haven't been there. The first year I went to America in 2009, I drove a car, picked it up in Los Angeles. This is a good story, so I'll tell this story. I booked, because it was my first time travelling overseas, I booked everything
And then exit
from Australia, especially considering I wanted the car for a long
exit
time.
left.
So I hired a Pontiac. So basically, what was at the time an American version of a Commodore. So a large sedan basically is what I rented. So, and I paid for it all before I entered America. So when I got there, I got into LA on the Friday. I spent the weekend as a pedestrian, just didn't know how I was going to go with the jet lag. 450 miles to San Antonio, by the way. I didn't know how I was going to go with the jet lag, so I just spent Monday as a tourist. Sorry, the weekend as a tourist. Picked the car up on Monday. So when I picked up the car on the Monday, I found out that I'd actually been upgraded to a Jeep. This was a Jeep with 500 miles on the clock. You know, I brought it back with nearly 4,000 miles on the clock, unlimited Ks. And it was interesting because when I entered America in LA on the Friday, the Customs and Border Protection officer, and I still remember this for obvious reasons when I tell it, the Customs and Border Protection officer who allowed me to come into America had the surname Christ. So Christ let me into America, and on the Monday, when I picked up the car, the name of the guy who gave me the car was Jesus. So Christ let me into America, Jesus gave me a car, and I'm, very unreligious. And even I saw the irony in that. And then driving up in that car where Christ let me into America and Jesus gave me the car, that was when I passed the Jesus Christ Trucking Company. All trucks must exit when flashing. So we'll wait and see if we have to go into the way station train. So we'll see if we have to go into the way station up here. No, it looks like the way station's closed. So Christ let me to America, Jesus gave me a car, then I passed twice the Jesus Christ Trucking Company, which I will look up at the end of this episode. Golf course drive.
Keep left.
Keep left. So 12 hours of driving remaining. Just before 4 AM is our expected arrival time, so we should have no issues with fuel and no issues with fatigue. So it's just another day on the I-10. So our new waypoint, San Antonio. So during that time in America, I drove up from LA, up the west coast, to Portland, Oregon, into Canada, almost got arrested coming into Canada, and I'll tell you that story in a minute. Through southern Canada for a while, back in via Idaho, basically via the north, including Chicago and into New York State, New York, and then New York, and then back via the south, including places like Kansas, Arkansas, Texas, New Mexico, and Arizona, back via Vegas, and then to California and back to LA. So that was basically 3 months on the road. So what the story was entering Canada is that I was driving up and they were doing road work, but I'd also had a look on the map before I went of places I wanted to see, and driving up Interstate 5 from Portland and Seattle up into Vancouver, Canada, was a place called the International Peace Park, and it straddled the border between the US and Canada. And ironically, just alongside that was the railway line that stretched between US and Canada. Now, all the time that I was there for a couple of hours, I didn't see any trains. In the middle of International Peace Park is a big, tall concrete arch. And there's some gates alongside it that have been welded in the open position, basically to say that the borders will never close between the US and Canada. Now, of course, we know they did during COVID, but that was a worldwide pandemic. So I went there and I was watching for trains and all that sort of stuff, and I was just going between the two sides and doing the whole Homer Simpson, I'm in America, I'm in Canada, I'm in America, I'm in Canada, and going left. So we're heading towards Dallas and Fort Worth. Okay, so we're not heading towards San Antonio anymore. So I was doing that for a while, and then I was taking some photos at either end of the, border signs and all that sort of stuff. And so I'm on the Canadian side. Now, mind you, while this is happening, I've got all my belongings in the car, in a car park on the American side, and my passport is in my car in the American side. I did have my wallet with me with ID, and I did have my phone, and I had my camera. So I was taking photos of the Canadian side and the checkpoints and all this sort of stuff, and a Canadian Customs and Border Protection guy asked me to come over and see him, so I did. He was just out having a smoke. And so he says, where are you from? And I said, I'm from Australia. And he said, and this is my first overseas trip, first real dealing with international law enforcement. And he says, have you got your passport there? I says, I don't, it's in the car, and my car's over there in America. I know that I'm technically in Canada talking to a Canadian Border Protection agent at this point. And he says, you got ID? So I gave him my ID, and he goes, come inside, we need to have a chat. So I said, okay. So we went inside, and the usual border security type questions. And I says, well, my passport's in my car's over there in the car park on the American side. And he says, you've maybe unwillingly, maybe unknowingly, but you actually have committed a crime. You have entered Canada illegally. And I says to him, isn't the checkpoint over there, and pointing to where the cars are entering? And he says, you see that big arch over there? And I'm thinking, what, the big arch that I've been spending the last 2 hours around taking photos and that? Yeah, I'm thinking, I know that arch. He says that is the actual border. As soon as you pass that point, the first thing you must do is come and check in to the Canadian border, and then we decide if you can come in the country or not. So I said, okay, well, what do we do now? And then he says, well, I'm going to get you to fill in a form. And it says, you know, it said name, date of birth, country of origin, etc. And because I didn't have my passport, even though I had my driver's license, and that clearly says New South Wales, Australia, and my address on it, country of birth unknown, country of origin unknown, and on it it says, I agree to leave Canada without delay. So I said, well, what do I do? Do I just go back to my car and then come into the checkpoint? And he goes, no, well, if you do that, you've also committed another crime. You've then entered the US illegally. So what you must do is you must take this form over to the American side, go straight into the American customs area. I've got to go into the check way station. You must go into the American Customs and Border Protection, and then they'll decide what they want to do. And I said, well, okay, let's say I do that, and they say that I can enter the US again and get my stuff. Will you let me into Canada? Because if you're not going to let me into Canada after this, well, there's no point. I'll just turn around and go somewhere else. Gross vehicle weight. Thank you for your cooperation. Have a safe journey. So I've had my vehicle serviced, so they're quite happy with that. So off we go. So here's me taking my form. So I'm taking my form, my form, my license, my camera, and my wallet, and I go over to the American side. Now, I don't know if Canada rang America and said, hey, this guy's coming over. But I waited in line, and then I saw the American Border Protection guy, and I explained the situation to him, and he says, where's your car? And I says, well, my car is parked over there in the car park next to all your vehicles. You know, all your Border Protection vehicles. And he says, okay, what I want you to do, leave your license here. I want you to go over to your car, get your passport, come back, and then I'll give you your license and your passport back and you'll be sweet. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I did that, went over to the car, got the passport. He's got my license, so where am I going to go? And then, okay, back we go. So I was hoping at that point, now I'm back in my car, I've got all my stuff, didn't get arrested, all that sort of stuff. So I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to try and get into Canada because I'm this close. The guy didn't say do not try to enter Canada. But unfortunately, the checkpoint that I had gone through, I couldn't access it from where I'd parked my car because there was road work. So I had to go about 5 miles up the road to another checkpoint, and it's really surreal as an Australian guy to be in a country, in America in this instance, and seeing signs saying to Canada this way, to Canada this way, to Canada this way. So I found the closest checkpoint, and I came to the checkpoint, and he says, have you got anything to declare alcohol, whatever? And I had a little bit of alcohol, but not much. And I said, yeah, I've got a little bit of alcohol, not much. And he goes, oh, can you come inside? So maybe they flagged me, I don't know. So we went through all the border security questions. You know, what are you doing here? I'm going to Canada because I'm here, and I want to go to Vancouver because it's there and I've never been. Do you know anybody in Vancouver? No. Do you have any accommodation booked in Canada or any events in Vancouver or anything that you're booked in for? No. What are you going to do after that? And I says, well, I'm going to head back to the US. I've got a whole heap of places that I'm going to see in the US, whole heap of people that I'm going to see. And then I'm going to go home. You know, what do you do in Australia? Blah, 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 all the usual stuff. And he says, have you tried to enter Canada before? And I says, well, depends on your definition of tried to enter Canada. And so he said, explain that. And I says, well, basically I was over there playing tourist and I crossed the border. My passport was in the car in America, and technically I entered Canada. So they let me in, it was all good. Vancouver was basically a construction site at the time because they were preparing for the 2010 Winter Olympics. And then for a few days I headed southeast and entered the US. Now this particular place that I entered in the US was basically a one-horse town. The main reason that it existed, I think... Oh, I've got my headlights on. The main reason that I think the town was there because it was a convenient border crossing. So I'll pull into the checkpoint, and the guy says, "Hey boy, where are you from?" And I says, "Australia." "Oh yeah, that's cool. What do you do in Australia?" And at this stage I said, "I'm a train driver." Now, if I was answering that question now, with what I've learnt since and after talking to this guy, I would have changed my answer and I would have said, I'm a subway driver. Then he perfectly would have understood what I said, because when I said train driver, he says to me, "You guys don't need trains, you're an island." I says, "Mate, we're about as big as the continental US. I said, "We've got plenty of trains, but I just happen to drive passenger trains," and then I said something, my equivalent of the New York subway. And he's like, "Oh man, that's cool, no worries, in you come." So I came into America that way, and that was the time that I almost got arrested entering Canada. And so while I'm here, I'm going to fast forward a few years to, I think, 2014, I want to say. Yeah, 2014, because I'd come back from 70,000 tons of metal, and I'd spent some time in Japan, and then I was coming back via Singapore and then home. So this one day in Singapore, I'd seen all these signs and everything saying, "Oh, come over to Macau, come over to Macau." So I went over to Macau. Now, Hong Kong and Macau are special administrative regions of China. You know, many years ago, Hong Kong came under British rule, but it's now under Chinese rule. They're a special administrative region of China. So to get between Hong Kong and Macau, you need your passport. I'm just going to get around this truck if I can. Not sure why he's sitting like that, or if he's broken down. So you need your passport to get between Macau and Hong Kong. So a lot of people get from Hong Kong to Macau and back, they usually catch a fast ferry. But for something different, I decided to get a helicopter on the way over and a ferry on the way back. So I went to Macau, and the ferry terminal and the helicopter terminal are at the same place. So you go through Customs and Border Protection and you enter Macau. When I left the ferry terminal and went to the bus interchange, there was a sign saying to Border Town. And I didn't do a lot of research, so I'm like, oh, let's get on the bus to Border Town. I wonder what's there. Got on the bus, and I didn't know it at the time, but I'd actually gone to Border Town, and I was halfway back to the ferry terminal when I realised that I was heading back to the ferry terminal, because I didn't hear any announcements or seeing any signs to say that we're at Border Town. In Macau, because of their history, their signs are in English, Chinese or Mandarin, and Portuguese. And I would basically describe Macau as the Asian version of Vegas. So a couple of buses and a taxi later, I end up at Border Town. And I see all these signs saying, you know, this many people have passed the border today. And I could see all these people leaving Macau. They had lots of bags with them and that sort of stuff. They seemed happy enough, and I saw all these people coming into Macau. They looked happy enough. Everything looked good. But I wasn't sure, and I didn't know, and I didn't see any signs saying, you know. So I figured out it was a border, but I didn't know whose border it was. So I went inside the building and I saw an information booth. So I went up to the lady at the information booth, and luckily for me, she could understand my English because I didn't have any Mandarin or Portuguese. So I says to her, where are all these people going? And she said, they are going to China. So I said, how do they get to China? Thinking that maybe they put them on a bus and then, you know, take them to the airport and put them on a plane or something like that. She says, no, they walk. So I'm thinking, well, okay, it's like a land border crossing like I'd seen on TV between America and Canada or America and Mexico. So I'm thinking, okay, can I go to China? And she says, maybe. Because I didn't look. I didn't know until 5 seconds ago that China was just over there. So I went up and I saw Macau Customs. And I says, so I believe that from here you can walk to China. Yes. Can I walk to China? Yes. Will China let me in? Maybe. If China doesn't let me in, will you guys let me back in because all my stuff's in Hong Kong? Yes. So I thought, okay, what's the worst that can happen? So I entered this departures hall to leave Macau, and there was 3 or 4 basic groups. There was Chinese citizens, Hong Kong and Macau residents, and then everybody else. So that was fine. Then got my passport stamped to leave Macau, and I walked through this massive duty-free area. Must have been a kilometre of shops that we walked through. And then I get to the arrival area into China, and instead of being basically 1/3 Chinese lines, 1/3 Macau, Hong Kong line, and then one line or a few lines for everybody else. In percentage terms, there was probably 99% Chinese lines and an everybody else line, and then there was a special needs line. Now, somehow I'd seen a sign talking about visas, but there wasn't a lot of information about it, so I went into the special needs line. And so in the special needs line, they said, oh, this is a special needs line. So I said, I need help. I said, I've just come from Macau. I just want to come into China and have a look. Do I need a visa? And they said, yes, you do. You go upstairs to the visa office and then they'll give you a visa. So, okay, so I went up to the visa office. And I still remember that the entry fee for the visa was 179 Chinese yuan. And they would only accept Chinese yuan. They would not accept Hong Kong dollars, Macau dollars, credit cards, anything like that. 179 Chinese yuan in cash. So I'm like, well, where do I get that from? I'm in no man's land between Macau and China at this point. They said, go downstairs. They basically said, go downstairs, go to an ATM or currency exchange. So I was looking around, found a currency exchange. Don't know if I got ripped off or not, but I paid enough so I would get 179 Chinese yuan. Got the 179 Chinese yuan, went back upstairs, got my tourist passport, my tourist visa, and then entered China. So it was a tourist visa just for that area. That was valid for 3 days, and the first thing I was supposed to do was walk into the local police station and register that I was staying. But I wasn't staying, so I didn't. So I walked around a little bit. Heaps of Chinese guys asked me if I wanted a taxi. I said no. Walked around. The only purchase that I made in China, and it was basically a high-rise Chinese version of Macau. I had no idea what to expect. Was it going to be like a small village with a dirt main street and goats running up the main street? I had no idea. The only thing I purchased was a bottle of Pepsi from the 7-Eleven, and then so I probably spent not long, about 45 minutes, an hour, something like that, actually in China, because I thought, well, I have to get back. I have to get from China into Macau, and then I have to get across from one side of Macau to the other, and then I have to get to the ferry terminal, and I had my ferry booked, and I had to get from Macau back into the ferry and then to Hong Kong. So I managed all that, managed to get the ferry, got back to Hong Kong. I was absolutely exhausted, and I remember posting on Facebook my status when I did post Facebook statuses. Today I walked to China, ... And that was my day, or that was the time I went to China. I absolutely love Japan. One of my workmates is actually over there at the moment, having a great old time. So that was the time that I almost got arrested going into Canada. Got told that Australia doesn't need trains because they're an island. And I didn't know that that day I was going to walk into China. So we've got 4 hours and 47 minutes left of our journey. It's just gone midnight Wednesday. We're expected at 4:50 on Wednesday. We've got 4 hours. And we must have lost a bit of time because of traffic. We're basically going to be a little bit over time, but I think I'm prepared for that. Probably lost a bit of time fueling up as well. There's been some road work and there's been some accidents and whatnot. And of course it was getting fuel. But we were looking really good there for a while to actually do it under the limit. But we're 4 hours 30 away and our next rest stop is in 3 hours 45 minutes. So if we rest somewhere near there, that would basically put us outside our window. And we haven't gone silly with excursions or whatever. Doesn't help that we can be doing 70 and I'm stuck behind a truck. He's only doing about 50. Downtown Fort Worth. What's the name of the city we're going to? Oh, Texarkana. That's right. Dallas, right 2 lanes. Whoops.
Keep left.
Keep left. So normally I'd make this into about 3 or 4 episodes, but considering it's going to be the last episode of this series, one big long one, almost been 3 hours of recording. US Super Mega Drive Fort Worth discovered. Waco. The only reason I've heard of Waco is because of the Waco massacre. And unfortunately that's the reason that I've heard of a lot of American cities, because of various massacres and whatnot.
Keep left.
And there's so many that, you know, you hear of these shootings and you just unfortunately block them out because there's just so many of them. So we're heading towards Dallas. But overall, apart from the little excursion into El Paso that I didn't think that I was going to have an actual drama getting back onto the onto the interstate, because one of the many mods that I use is takes all the green icons away, and also the invisible X's for roads that you can't go down. Pepsi trucks. I thought, oh yeah, I'll just be able to go straight back onto the I-10. It'll be all good, but no. Dallas discovered. Dallas stars. Hi, Jenny. So we'll just stay over here for a while because there's all these exits. Texarkana. So Texarkana, I'm guessing, is on the border of Texas and Arkansas. So we started on the 10, or sorry, we started going east on the 10. We were just on the 20. Now we're on the 30. Remembering that we did do some detouring against the suggestions of Mr. Morgan Freeman in California. I think Arkansas is actually the next state to be released, if I remember. So now let's heading towards Houston.
Keep left.
Keep left. No, I don't think we can go to Houston because that's way down south. Yeah, so I'll just stay here for all these entries and exits. Wow, what's going on here? It's not me swerving, by the way. There's like a wind. It feels like a wind gust. Oh, here we go. Feels like wind gusts occasionally blow me off target, like that. Route 69! Woohoo! Highway 69! I want to go on Highway 69! But I know I shouldn't. Here we go. 127 miles to Texarkana, which roughly equals what I've got remaining on my counter. So 2 hours away. We've got an hour of driving legally left. So I don't really want to go over again, but I don't want to take a rest stop just for an hour. Might not even find the rest stop anyway in an hour's time. Especially, as I've said before, you just can't stop anywhere you want and say, oh, this is going to be a rest stop. You can't even fill up at every fuel bowser, as we've seen. You are getting sleepy. Way station in 1 mile. Oh, that could be dangerous, actually. Imagine if you were over time pull in for the inspection. Now, at the moment, I'm still legal. 37. Oh, that's going to make me even later. I'm still legal for fatigue at the moment. So I wonder what would happen if I was actually over. Thank you. Interestingly, here it says no truck parking with 25 minutes remaining. Interestingly, at some of the inspection stations we've seen, there are actually truck rest facilities. So I've got 90 minutes. So that added more time to our day. And because you're going through the way station, you don't get... time doesn't stop. Of course, in reality, you're making stops occasionally, if only to go to the bathroom. $80 miles to go. $54 miles. There's a truck rest area. How am I doing? I'm officially out of time. So 41 minutes to go. We'll see if we can see how many times we get knocked off of fatigue in that 41 minutes. I'm surprised the fines are actually so low. It's $200 every time you get knocked off for going over your hours. And 27 miles to Texarkana. Welcome to Texarkana. We is here.
Keep right. And pin. Exit right. Exit right. right, and then exit right. Exit right.
miles.
Keep left, and then turn left. Turn left.
Okay, that's once.
Keep right, and then turn right. Turn right.
And there we are on the right.
In 400 meters, turn right. Turn right, and then turn right. Turn right. You've arrived. It's been my honor and duty to see you through this mission.
All right. Alrighty, we have arrived from San Francisco to Texarkana, 2,031 miles. Total time, including loading, unloading, and rest stops, 69 hours and 12 minutes. Nice. Base reward, proficiency, long distance, higher value, and urgent delivery bonuses, and on time. So we'll have a look at our current company offers, of which there seem to be a few, but we're not going to do any more at this stage. What I do want to do though is actually myself, but I'll do that in a moment. Alright, just to actually myself before we go, the Jesus Christ Trucking Company doesn't appear to be active anymore. Last seen on the internet about 2012, 2013. 70,000 tons of metal. I can tell you a lot more about that though. Set up and started in 2011, and it was on the Royal Caribbean ship Majesty of the Seas. So 2011 they went from Miami to Cozumel, Mexico. In 2012 from Miami to Georgetown on Cayman Islands. In 2013, which is the first year I went, towards Coburn Town, Turks and Caicos Islands from Miami, again on the Majesty of the Seas. On that ship, 2,037 visitors from 55 countries or autonomous regions took part, and there were 42 bands on board. So in total, 2,037 guests, 466 musicians and crew, 892 ship crew, total on board 3,395. 2014, which was the second year that I went, we went to Costa Maya, Mexico. So 2015 I was going to go, but I didn't. That was going from Fort Lauderdale to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. So I missed out on going to Jamaica. That was on the new ship, the Liberty of the Seas. Then 2016 went to Falmouth in Jamaica from Fort Lauderdale on the independence of the seas. Then in 2017 from Fort Lauderdale to Labadee, Haiti. 61 artists on that one, on the independence of the seas. In 2018, they went back to Turks and Caicos Island, on the independence of the seas. 2019, back to Labadee, Haiti. 2020, got back just before COVID kicked off, back to Cozumel, Mexico. 2021 didn't happen because of COVID. Supposed to go to Ocho Rios, Jamaica. 2023 to the Bahamas, to Binami, the Bahamas on the freedom of the seas. 2024, which has just happened, to Puerto Plata in the Dominican Republic, on board the freedom of the seas. And in 2025, back to Ocho Rios, which is where they were supposed to go, but didn't happen because of COVID, on the independence of the seas. So when you think about it, wow, lots of bands, lots of people. If I have a look at one of the more recent cruises, let's see the most recent cruise that I can see how many people went on. So the last one that got figures of how many people went on it was the 2020 cruise on the independence of the seas from Fort Lauderdale to Cozumel. 3,028 guests from 71 countries, 1,040 musicians and crew, ship crew 1,377, total persons on board 5,445. So, wowee. Anywho, I have been Simulator Dirk. You have been wonderful. Thank you. It's been a long episode, but it was a long trip. And I thought one big episode to finish off this batch of episodes. We will be back soon. Not sure exactly when soon will be. Probably with the release of American Truck Simulator version 1.50. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have enjoyed this batch. I've been Simulator Dirk. You've been wonderful. See you next time. Thanks for watching, and goodbye for now.
There are those who would like to see you fail in your journey. That's not going to happen on my watch. Let's go.
Can we stop for ice cream, Bart? Can we stop for ice cream? Oh, it's the Max! Ho, 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 ho! The Portland Light Rail System, the Max, and that's what it actually looks like. How sweet! So end of May, June, July, and now we're into August, so...
That was the longest night of my life.